and I'm just going to say this to all of our, viewers out there. Guido's doing what he's doing. You guys have seen what I'm doing. Everyone can play their part. Everyone has, something that they're good at, something that they can contribute. I tell you something that Guido Reichstatter has contributed to the AI risk movement in ways that no one else has is grit. Like sitting out there, not eating for days and days and days and days and days and days, getting uncomfortable. I have been inspired by your ability to push through the comforts that I cling to, that so many people cling to, that are a part of our modern lives. So mad respect to you, Guido. So let's talk about what this is leading up to, when the hunger strike might stop and what that event is, and give me the whole sort of backstory on that, and we could get into that.
So me and some friends, we have taken direct action a couple of times. We've non-violently blocked the entrances to AI companies that are doing frontier AI research, putting our lives and the lives of everyone we love at risk. And we did this intentionally to go to trial, to bring this to trial, because we're claiming a right. I have the right to protect my children. I have the right to non-violently stop these companies from threatening their lives. And I'm willing to go to court to defend this right. That's what we're seeking to establish. We're pleading not guilty by reason of necessity, that it was necessary to take these actions to stop the race to AGI.
Yeah. And when we were in, I was in one of the initial court proceedings of this in San Francisco when, that was November of 24, right? And these court cases take forever to get through to this thing. And so there's some chance that the judge in this case is going to allow potentially the issue of AI itself. Like, is your family endangered, and are you making a justified move by non-violently using means of non-violent civil disobedience? Is that acceptable within the law given the threat to your family by the AI companies?
I think that it is. And we've got some people lined up, hopefully, to testify to that, some expert witnesses to testify to the facts that there is an emergency. But the law around necessity, the idea, the defense of necessity is a very old idea. It goes back probably thousands of years. I'm sure any legal system has grappled with the idea that sometimes it's necessary to break the law to prevent a greater evil. So it's part of common law. The way that it's cast into the actual jurisprudence in California poses some barriers to applying it into this case. But regardless, the important thing is we're in an emergency. The technicalities of the law, whether it even is legally permissible, are secondary to the need to prevent that harm. And if it involves being found guilty and going to jail, so be it. This is what we should be prepared to do for the sake of the ones we love. And so I claim this right, and I'm willing to defend it. And that's the most important thing. And I hope to inspire other people to claim this right. Because we have the right. We have this right. We have the right to life and to live without fear of the world being destroyed by this insane race. And it's if we're going to make that right real and prevent our own lives from being lost, we're going to have to fight. We're going to have to stand up for those rights.
I want to stress this point because there are forces outside there are forces that want the race to continue unfettered so they can make more money, that often try to paint the things like what you are doing as being violent, as being illegal, as being criminal. And I think it is really, really important to point out and stress that every single thing you have done and are doing, right, is nonviolent, civil disobedience, akin to what changed the country in the civil rights movement, akin to what has changed politics all over the world when mass movements have been successful using nonviolent civil disobedience.
This absolutely. And I think there's a very important point here. If we do not stop this nonviolently, there's a very good chance that this race will produce violence on an unimaginable scale. Because just as we have a right to life, people in other countries have just as much right to life. The CEO, Dario Amodei, of this company, Anthropic, has written of a plan to use the temporary advantage that they have in the AI race to turn it into a permanent advantage through recursive self-improvement, the most dangerous possible thing you could do
the
with
bright
AI.
red line. Yeah.
And to use that to achieve total supremacy over the rest of the world. If the race comes to that point, China, Russia, nuclear-armed states will rationally consider it in their self-interest to end this race by massive violence. So, those of us who believe this race can be ended through nonviolence have a very heavy responsibility to do everything we can to prevent it from reaching that state.
It is such an important point that though there are forces outside of the AI safety movement that try to paint the AI safety movement as violent, when AI advancement itself threatens greater violence than this planet has ever known.
In this situation, inaction is complicity with violence. If we allow, through our inaction, this race to proceed to that end state, we bear complicity because we could have prevented it. And that's why it's so important for us to take nonviolent direct action now when there is a chance of changing the future.